More information has come out about the man who walked into a Florida nightclub and killed 49 people and wounded at least 50 others. Now, a man who was claiming to be the lover of Orlando gunman Omar Mateen has said that the massacre at the Florida Pulse nightclub was not motivated by terrorism, but instead was motivated by revenge. In an interview with Univision, the man known as Miguel, who was heavily costumed to hide his identity, of course, which is understandable, said Mateen was, quote, 100% gay, and that the two had carried on a relationship that was considered to be friends with benefits after meeting through a gay dating app. There was also a new report published by TMZ that claims that Omar Mateen was picked up on surveillance video taken at a hotel in Orlando. The dates and times Mateen appeared in the footage match up to the dates and times Miguel said that they were together at the hotel. So it looks like Miguel's story checks out. So what is Miguel's story? I mean, what happened? Well, first I want to get back to the TMZ report. Sources say that at the Ambassador Hotel say that Mateen was seen on camera footage recorded December 14th around 11 p.m. The video bolsters the claim of the heavily disguised man who told Univision he met up with Mateen 15 to 20 times at the hotel between November and December. Our sources say the video shows Mateen walk to the front desk, speak to a staffer, and then walk around a corner towards the room where an anonymous man says he was staying during their rendezvous. Now, let's go to back to Miguel and his experience with Mateen. He described him as, quote, a very sweet guy who loved to be cuddled and frequented gay bars. He said he was stunned when he discovered Mateen had been the shooter at Pulse, that it was, quote, impossible that the man I know could do that. Well, it was incredibly possible because it happened. So, now wait a minute here. So he says that Mateen is 100% gay and loved going to gay bars. That would kind of mean that he wasn't in ISIS, that he hadn't been radicalized before jihad. If he was 100% gay, he wouldn't be there, right? And he was actively going to gay bars, not to case the joint, not to check out the place, but to check out the guys in the place. Because apparently, a lot of the guys he liked to cuddle with, and do a lot more than cuddle. So, if he was 100% gay and not radicalized, why did he do this? Well, it turns out, revenge. Now, first off, Miguel told Univision that, quote, he adored Latinos, gay Latinos with brown skin, but he had felt rejected. He felt used by them. There were moments in the Pulse nightclub that made him feel really bad. Guys used him. That really affected him. I believe this crazy, horrible thing he did, that was revenge. More specifically, Mateen's attack on Orlando's Pulse nightclub might have been the result of a sexual encounter with two Latino men, one of which Mateen later discovered had HIV. So, the attack, Miguel believes, carried out the nightclub's Latino night was Mateen's attempt at taking revenge against a specific community of gay men who he felt had used and rejected him. So, if that's the truth, then why call and declare allegiance to ISIS? Well, that kind of goes back to his family and his religion. See, his father is kind of a nutcase that loves the Afghan Taliban. Now, he lives in America, he's an immigrant, and he's got some sort of weird YouTube or radio channel, whatever, where he talks about how much he loves the Afghan Taliban. Well, it looks like the Taliban, if you know anything about them, you know that they don't like gay people. Which, to be honest, is a bit hypocritical. Now, just like every religion that also hates gay people. Pretty hypocritical and I can give you several examples and different ones. For the Afghans, for the Taliban in Afghanistan, part of their culture is to take young boys and to make them dance for them. And then they end up having sex with the boys. Even though it's illegal under the Taliban, it's more of a cultural thing in Afghanistan. And so, of course, they ignore that. And they have their dancing boys that they have sex with. Well, if that's not gay, I don't know what is. And it really makes them hypocritical. Then, of course, you've had all the sex scandals within the Catholic Church. All these religious denominations that are anti-gay, well, they're really hypocritical. But nonetheless, there is still this deep anti-gay sentiment within all different religions. Now, it certainly exists in Islam, right? As well as Christianity. Now, the reasons for that are mainly to do with, hey, we need to populate our tribe. We need to make sure we've got a bigger army than the Canaanites or whoever. We got to make sure that we've got more people, so that means we have to have more babies. Well, you're not going to have more babies if you're allowed to, be in a relationship with the same sex. So that's why they outlawed this. That's the big taboo. We need more soldiers. We need more babies. And that's it. That's why being gay is bad. No, they don't tell you that. They just say it's an abomination. And they roll with it. And it's the same thing with Islam. So, I mean, look, there are some anti-gay Christians in America that think that they're better than the anti-gay Muslims. Because, hey, look, we don't kill them. We take away their rights and we deny who they are, but at least we don't kill them. We love the sinner, but we hate the sin. Now, of course, not all American Christians are like that. Most Christians, I think, are accepting. There are a lot of accepting people. There are a lot of people that are like, I don't like that, but I'm not going to tell you how to live their lives. And then there's the extreme ones. For example, there were American pastors that were hoping that someone would finish the job on the survivors of Pulse. And that they hoped that they would all die. Or that they're going to die anyway. Because they were calling them pedophiles and just terrible, terrible things. So, look, don't think that we in America are all high and mighty when we still have so much hate in our society for gay people. And a lot of that hate and stigma comes from their ignorance, and their religion, and oftentimes from ignorance of their own religion. And of course, they're made to feel that something is wrong, that they're broken, that they're sinful, right? And that's the thing. That's what I believe Omar Mateen was suffering from. He grew up in that hatred and was made to feel that there was something wrong with him, that he was sinful, and that if you participate in that lifestyle, something terrible is going to happen, and unfortunately it did. He thought he had HIV. And then he probably thought, oh my God, my father was right. Islam was right. This was terrible, and then I'm being punished from God. Well, I need to make things right. And unfortunately, what he saw was right was the complete opposite of being right. So no, it wasn't terrorism. It was a lot of this anti-gay. It was a very, very complicated situation. But I think a lot of it had to do with our anti-gay sentiment in both religion and in our culture, and especially in Afghan culture. So to call this an act of, terrorism related to radical Islamic terrorism is off the mark. That's actually not what we're talking about. We're talking about a very complicated individual doing doing a horrible, unspeakable crime for some very complicated reasons.